So how do you actually know what's in your vial? Because here's the reality. The peptide market is completely unregulated. No FDA oversight, no quality control requirement. Anyone with a Shopify store can sell you a bag of white powder and call it a peptide. And a lot of them do. So I spent weeks going down the rabbit hole before I ordered anything, and this video is everything I found. The red flags, what to actually look for, and exactly how I chose my vendor. No affiliate codes, no sponsorship, just the process. Let me show you what this market actually looks like. Hundreds of vendors, all with slick websites, all saying pharmaceutical grade, all claiming 99% purity, all with amazing reviews. And a significant percentage of them are selling absolute garbage. Independent testing has found counterfeit products, fake COAs, wrong purity levels, and vials contaminated with bacterial endotoxins. Endotoxins are fragments of bacterial cell walls, not live bacteria. They won't give you an infection, but inject enough of them and your immune system goes haywire. Fever, inflammation, serious immune reactions. And here's what makes this dangerous. A contaminated vial will look identical to a clean one. One study found the actual peptide content in vials can vary by up to 75% from what the label claims. You can order 5 milligrams, you might get 1.25, or you might get 8. You have no idea which one. So that's the market, and how do we navigate this? Most people do one of two things. They Google best peptide vendor and click on the first result, which is almost always a paid placement or affiliate site making commission from the vendor they recommend. That's not information, that's an ad dressed up as advice. Or they go to Reddit, which is better but has its own problems. Vendors seed fake reviews. AstroTurfing is real. And even genuine positive reviews tell you about the one batch from one person, not what's actually in the vial. What you actually need is independent third-party testing, not the vendor grading their own exam. An independent lab with no financial relationship to the vendor, testing the actual product and publishing the results. Two tests matter. I'll keep this simple. First, HPLC, high performance liquid chromatography. This tells you how pure the peptide is. It separates all compounds in the vial and measures what percentage is actually your target peptide. You want 98% or above, below 95%, look elsewhere. But HPLC has a blind spot. It tells you peptide is pure, but it can't tell you it's the right peptide. You can have a perfectly pure sample, but a completely different compound, and HPLC would pass it. That's where mass spec comes in. This tells you the molecular weight of what's in the vial. BPC 157, for example, has a molecular weight of 1,419 Daltons. Mass spec confirms what's in the vial is actually BPC 157 and not a cheaper substitute. Think of it this way. HLPC checks if the bag of coins is full. Mass spec checks the coins are actually quarters and not washers. You need both, not one or the other, both. There's a third test worth noting, endotoxin testing. Most vendors actually skip it because it costs extra and they don't have to run it. A vendor that does it anyway is telling you something about how seriously they take quality control. Every vendor gives you a certificate of analysis, but not all COAs are equal. Some are completely made up. Here's what a legitimate one looks like. It comes from a named independent third-party tested lab, not the vendor's own quality department. The lab should be identifiable. You should be able to look it up and confirm it exists. It has a lot number matching your specific vial, no lot number or generic numbers like sample 001. This means it's worthless. It could have been generated for any batch at any time. It has a testing date. An undated COA could be years old. It shows actual HPLC data, ideally the graph showing the test results, not just a number. And it has mass spec confirmation. Red flags that mean walk away immediately. Every single product on the site shows exactly 99.9% purity. Real testing produces slightly different results every batch. Identical numbers across all products means the COA is templated. No lab contact information. A real lab stands behind its testing. COAs only available after purchase. Legitimate vendors show you documentation before you hand over money. Prices that seem too good. Quality peptide synthesis is expensive. If someone is selling BPC 157 for $10 a vial, when reputable vendors charge $30 to $50, they are cutting corners somewhere. So here's exactly what I did. I found a platform called Finric Independent Analytics based in Texas. They buy peptides directly from vendors so that the vendor doesn't know they're being tested and send them to commercial labs for analysis. Nearly 6,000 samples, over 180 vendors, and 15 different peptides published publicly. They score each sample on 3 things: purity, quantity accuracy, and batch identification. Then assign letter grades A through E. This is the closest thing to objective independent vendor ranking that exists in this market. I identified the top rated vendors for BPC 157 and only looked at the ones graded. Cross-referenced on Reddit looking for unprompted organic reviews, not promotional posts. Checked operating history as well because a vendor that has been around for years has a track record that matters. I also verified that COAs came from recognizable independent labs that all publish verifiable results with QR codes so that you can scan to confirm the test actually happened. After all that, I ordered 2 5-milligram vials. Did I verify it was perfect? No, I don't have a lab, but I did everything a non-scientist can reasonably do. I do need to be straight about something. Even Finric has limitations. Vendors can submit their own samples for testing through a program Finric offers. In at least one case, a vendor successfully challenged and had a result changed. Does that make Finric useless? No. It's still the most comprehensive independent data available, but use it as one data point, not the definitive answer. In a completely unregulated gray market, there is no such thing as a perfect certainty. You do the research, you pick the best available option based on the available evidence, you accept the residual uncertainty, and you make a decision. That's what I did, and I'm documenting the outcome, including blood work before and after. So at least there's data on the other side of it. So here's the short version of everything I just said. Don't trust any vendor that only provides in-house testing. Don't trust any COA without a lot number and a named independent lab. Check Finric for independent test data. Cross-reference on Reddit, organic reviews only. Look for vendors operating for years, not months. Requires both HPLC and mass spec, not one or the other. That process took me weeks. Hopefully this saves you most of that time. Next video, I'm going to walk through how I reconstitute this, what supplies you need, how to inject for the first time, and what day 1 actually looks like. No sponsors, no agenda.